Woohoo. Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stepping in here and taking a look. We are working on our Vigo beds today. So, a couple of videos ago, you saw us working these over, getting old roots out. Oh my gosh, I still can't get over all those roots. Um, but amending the soil, adding more soil, and I even planted up a few things in this bed. And here's a little progress report. So I put a crooked line of row of carrots in here, and they're up and looking good. I'm not quite ready to thin those out yet, and I hate doing that actually, but I know it's necessary if I want decent sized carrots, but they're not ready yet. So anyway, but they are coming up, and so I'm very happy about that. All of this, well, there's a lot of like perlite and maybe a little vermiculite in this soil, but also there is a bunch of seeds from the trees. So I may come through here and just sort of rake the top off before I plant anything else, because those seeds are going to drive me nuts because they're going to start cropping up like crazy in here. And that's just how it is at this time of the year. We have a lot of seeds flying off the trees. Like there's a cluster. So this is what we're dealing with, and they are just unruly. We have a pool, and oh my gosh, I can't even tell you what kind of mood Don's in at this time of the year when all that's going on. I just don't even want to talk to him about it. So anyway, and here's our lettuces. This was our romaine. These are those romaines and the mesclun lettuce. There's my little markers, and they're still, it's because we haven't had very much rain and sun and stuff, and they're still, you can read them because normally they've already started to fade by now, but we haven't had hardly any rain, so they haven't. But you know what? That's right. I used a new paint marker, so I don't know. Maybe those are going to be okay. So we'll have to check back on that. But I pretty much can remember, well, sometimes I can. I shouldn't say that, but most of the time I can remember, especially once something starts coming up, I know what it is. So just as long as I can see what it is. So anyway, look at that little guy. He just kind of out there on his own. There's another one. I remember that it was a little bit windy that day that we planted these seeds. So anyway, these are really ready to eat. I love them when they're, baby greens, if you will, and they're just so nice and soft and tender. And we've been known to stand out here and just eat them. So anyway, as a matter of fact, one of my one of my neighbors across the street, she knows that she can come over here anytime and pick whatever she wants. She also has a fabulous garden, and she came over the other day and she was looking for the arugula that was in here, and I had already you had watched us, if you saw that video, pull it up because it was getting old and tired. And she's like, "Where's the arugula?" I said, "I don't know, but eat this stuff while you're waiting." So um, I've got some more I'm going to plant. So anyway, but we're going to work on these today, and I am ready for Dawn to reinstall the trellis that we had here last year. And it is a piece of 4 foot by, I don't know, I can't remember, 12, 20. Dawn, how long is that piece of cattle panel?
16 feet.
Okay, yeah, so it's 4 feet by 16 feet.
16 feet.
And he's bringing it over now. He's had it stashed. I understood that he maybe had another project, but I talked him into letting me have it back. So maybe he can just get another one for his project, because I need it now, because I want to put some peas and beans for sure on the trellises. I need to get those in. I probably should have had them in maybe a week or two ago, but we've just had so many different projects going on and life that I just hadn't gotten them in yet. But they'll grow fast. I just want to get those peas in because they will be short-lived. Once the heat hits and we're starting to really warm up, they won't do as well. So I want to get, as much time as I can with them. And I've got some beans, Kentucky Wonder beans, that I'm very excited about. And I want to get those on the trellis as well. So that apparatus is going to go right here in between the two Vigo beds, and it's going to arch, and you'll see it here in a minute, but I'm very excited about it because you can walk underneath it, and if if your produce gets so tall, you can even pick from underneath it. I don't think mine ever has gotten, maybe once something got over the top, but not very far. So anyway, but it's fun to pick the produce off of it. So anyway, that's what's going to be happening. I've got some other things I need to put in today as well. I've got some onions, and I've actually got some squash I want to try that I haven't ever tried before. So we're going to just work on that and get these beds kind of going so that we have something to eat this summer. So anyway, here we go.
Okay. So like Alice mentioned, this cattle panel is 16 feet long, and we're going to make it become an arch or a trellis in between the beds. And to do that, we're essentially going to pull it together. But you can always come up with other tools and things like that that you may have around your house or in your workshop or even in your vehicle, like these ratchet tie downs or tie down straps. I'm going to show you how I can use one of these to kind of just help me and give me an extra helping hand. And those are the kind of things that we like to share with people, because it just makes things maybe easier if you're having to do it by yourself. It kind of gives you an extra set of hands. So what I'm going to do is just hook this on one side of the trellis, and then I'm going to use that to kind of help me pull the bottom ends together. And then I'm going to hook the other side like this, and then just kind of go ahead and pull it up tight. And I'm going to use that to help me hold it in place and get it to the right, close to the right size for going in between those beds, instead of me trying to having to muscle it in there myself. And once you start to ratchet this down, it holds itself. Now, you may not have some of these, and you may not want to go buy a pair of these, but if you happen to have a rope, you can take a rope like this, just a simple cotton rope that I happen to have, that I use in the outdoors and the lawn around the house. I've got a loop that I put on one end. You can go around the trellis like this, go all the way around, and essentially what I'm going to show you here is a trucker's knot or a freight knot. So you've got your loop, you can come back through the loop like this, and then you can use that to help you cinch it down or adjust it to where you need it. And then once you have it, you can just put a simple overhand knot in here to help you hold it in place.
Okay, wait just a minute, Don. Let's see that overhand knot again, slowly.
Okay, you've got your rope back through your loop. You've pulled it up to where you want it. Come over here with your right hand or left hand. It just depends on how you do it. Pinch and hold right here like this. Just hold it. And then I'm just going to take my loose end. There's several ways to do this, but I just take my loose end, come around and come up from the bottom and pull a loop like that. And then I pull it tight. And that's going to hold tension against right here. And when you're ready to release this, all you have to do is pull on this, and it's loose.
Okay, that demonstration was specifically for those of us who are not challenged. Not challenged.
But I used to use this when I drove a truck, semi, moving heavy equipment and stuff. And we had heavier ropes than this. We would use this, or even in the back of my pickup or in trailers, you can use this. And again, it's a freight knot, or a trucker's knot is what it's called. It may even have some other names, but it's just a handy way to, secure your load, rather than just going down the highway 60, 70 miles an hour with loose cargo and blowing out and hurting someone or whatever.
Well, okay, well, while you're at it then, tell me about this long tail that's left from it. What do you do with something like that? Because I have been behind those trucks that use that.
Right. Well, in some cases, you can take these.
They're flapping in the wind.
Yeah, they're flapping in the wind. You can take these and, coil them up and just go ahead and secure them, which is kind of what we used to do, with another loop kind of like this and just, tie it off, and that way you're not dragging the ground. And the same applies to your cargo strap. If you want to do that, you can, to get rid of this extra loop. Like if you've got it on a trailer or something, you'll be going down the highway and this will be flapping in the breeze. You can essentially do the same thing with it. You can just, secure your loose end and then tie it off back to the strap with another loop or whatever.
Well, for those of us who are challenged in that way, I won't remember it, but I appreciate people who do know how to tie a knot because I I can just tie a knot. That's what I can do. One knot. Okay. Thanks for that.
That lettuce is coming along.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to grow.
Yeah. Even the carrots are looking good.
Yeah.
It's kind of right there. Set it down. Okay.
Get that out of the way.
And I know we could lift this up, manually, but just kind of undo the rope, pull that, and kind of undo the loops, and then hand me the rope.
See, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Fine. And then just kind of help me get it started going up, and I'm going to pull up with this as well.
Okay.
We're just kind of pulling it into position is all we're doing. There we go. And that was all I wanted to show was, and then we can adjust it and kind of
where we want
pull it into position here. And it should be on each side of the post 1 foot is what I allowed for.
Okay.
So do you want to measure it, or?
We can. So you basically on one foot from the edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically about.
Well, yeah, if this thing is 4 feet, wouldn't the middle be?
Yeah. I may have to go back a little bit. Oh, that's about right. Okay.
Good, or?
Yeah. Do you attach one piece and then nope, you're undoing it. Okay.
Well, I want to see too how we think it looks. And this year, I think the little ones are on this side, and last year the little ones were on that side. Do you care?
Nope.
Okay. And I think what I had to do last year was just fudge a little bit because of where the panel, or where I put the posts in.
Right.
Just to make sure that I get. Yeah. Right. Now, how does the arch look? I had tried to straighten it out, when I took it back there and stored it, so it's not so doink.
Yeah. No, it looks good.
Well, and we can pull down on it, so.
No, I think it looks good.
If you think it needs it.
Yeah. No, this is good. We've got all these.
Yeah, that's your leftover ties from, I figured you'll be using them. There's some here too. So when we put these up last year, we didn't initially attach them to anything, and I came back and had to put these little 3 foot T-posts in the ground. And the reason we did that is I didn't really think about them needing to be anchored necessarily, but after stuff got to growing on them, beans and I don't remember what all we had planted on here last year, but it became an issue when the North Texas winds would get going and the trellis was actually trying to lean back over. So what I did last year was just kind of tie these up with some wire. But I found this little tool and I'm going to try it out today. It's a crimper for tie wraps, but these are metal tie wraps. And I want to try to give that a go. And another little tip here, one of the things that I like to do even on my plastic tie wraps is when I get a bag like this, I don't cut the end off or, cut a corner off down here because then they'll all spill out. I cut a little notch with a pair of scissors right here on the edge of the bag. And then I can take and get in there and grab just one and pull out, one or two or however many I need for the project. And then they're still kind of secure in my bag. But for this little tool, you just take them and thread them kind of where you want. And again, this is my first time using this and we're going to give it a try. And if we like it and it works out, I'll put a link in the description to where you can get them. We got it on Amazon. And then you just take this little tool, feed the tie wrap in the end, and then you just squeeze the pliers and it tightens it up for you like that.
Oh, okay.
And then when you've got it as tight as you want it, this little tool here, you just lift up on it and you can hold your piece and it cuts your piece off.
Okay, so
and
it leaves
a little edge there. And then what you can also do, they have in their instructions, is this is also kind of a little hammer. You just kind of tap that end down so it's not a sharp edge sticking up. Because the grandkids and the pets and everybody else get out here and rub up against this, and I don't want them to get hurt or anything. So I'm just going to put a few of these on each side. And again, this is just to kind of give it some stability for when things get to growing on it and the wind gets up and what have you.
So I've forgotten from last year, did you say you used plastic ones?
Last year I had plastic ones on here initially and they almost immediately broke. And then I just went back with some like wire that I had, which it was okay and it was not very pretty, but I found these and I wanted to give them a try. So
I do remember that every time we do use the plastic zip ties or tie wraps or whatever, that they just, by the end of the season, they're rotted. Do you concur?
I agree. Yeah, and there's a place and a use for the plastic tie wraps, and they're different sizes, and I use the heck out of them. But yeah, after a year.
So when you want to disassemble this, you just cut that with a wire cutter?
They actually have a little tool, and I don't have it here with me. It's in my shop. They have a little tool. If you want to reopen this, you can and try to reuse it. But since I'm cutting them off, and they're not that expensive. This was a bag of these, 100 of these in the bag. I think it was $5 or $6, and for metal tie wraps, that's not bad at all.
Okay.
And they have different sizes and different gauges and things like that, depending on what you're doing. Maybe you're using them.
I never knew they had metal ones.
I didn't either, and I saw a video the other day of someone using these, and I thought, well, maybe I need to try those.
I'm sure you did.
Another tool, because you can't have too many tools for when you're doing different projects and things like that. So
yes.
It just kind of cinches it up, and they even give you a cutter besides this one that you can come back in here and cut it. But why not use the one that's on the tool?
That's slick. Okay. I approve.
So that's it.
Nice. Well, we'll have to report back in later in the season just to see. I mean, are they going to rust? Are they stainless steel?
They're not supposed to rust. They're stainless steel.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll have to see how they look. I'm not really worried about how they look, but more about how they perform, I guess. So
right, how they hold up.
We'll see how it goes.
In the weather.
Oh, sorry.
And I've even seen a gun similar to this that you can use on the plastic tie wraps, and it tensions those up, and right at the end you can also cut the plastic tie wraps with those, but I don't currently have one of those tools. Hint, hint.
Okay, so we are installed, ready to go with the arch, with the trellis. I'm excited. I'm gonna get some seeds going in here pretty quick, get them marked. I did want to show you that we did use last year. Ooh, there's a bug. Um, Last year I used all these little twisty rubber coated wire things. This is how high up I guess some things got. Um, because I use those to help train, and I just left them on here obviously, but to train the whatever I had trailing up this one. So there's pieces of it here and there, and so I'm going to go around and kind of gather those up and save them because they're reusable, and that way I'll have them raring to go and ready again for whatever is going to grow up this. I haven't decided yet whether I'm putting the peas on this side or if they're going to go on this side, but the beans will be on the opposite side, so I just got to think about it. I don't know that it matters. So anyway, so that's kind of concludes what's going on today. I'm not gonna I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff planted, like I said. Get that in since we're expecting some rain, so that's exciting. Get those rained in, watered in. Anyway, I think that concludes it for the day out here, and we're excited to get some stuff planted, and we'll see how everything goes, and we'll give you some progress reports. Thanks for watching.